So, Urek Mazino is back at it again, claiming to be a gentleman, while casually trading blows with a princess of Zahard. Evelyn is out here proving herself to be the most wholesome character in the spin-off. Yeah, this chapter is absolutely wild, but beneath the chaos, chapter 8 gives us some really clever character beats, some great comedy, and also a few questionable narrative choices that I really need to rant about. So let's break it all down. We kick things off with Urek declaring that he is a gentleman. You see, he doesn't fight women, unless of course they insist on it. And because this Zahard Princess is dead set on proving herself, Urek has no choice but to accept. Now, the princess actually impresses Urek here. He notes that her skills are well above the other regulars. She's sharp, confident, and she even sets up a sneaky little trick by dropping a ticket mid-fight. Keep this in mind because it's one of the smartest character moves we have seen in this spin-off so far. Meanwhile, Urek being Urek asks her for what he believes is a small favor. He wants to meet King Zahard. But the princess quickly explains that what he is asking for might very well be the most difficult task in the tower, as the only princesses who can meet Zahard are the owners of the 13 months. And her whole mission is to get one just so that she can kill him. Cue Urek breaking the fourth wall. He points out that this sounds suspiciously like the plot of season 1, and the princess tells him to shut up, which honestly I love. It just proves that Tower of God is so popular that even the characters themselves are reading it. Urek then proposes a deal. He will help her get one of the 13 months, if in exchange she helps him to meet Zahard. And if Zahard turns out to be a bad guy, Urek casually says he will just kill him. And the princess immediately calls him out on that, because in her eyes, nobody can touch Zahard. But before that tension can really build, an announcement echoes through the floating ship. It's time for the tickets to be checked. Here we get a cute yet ominous visual, a cartoon-style ghost running around, threatening to devour regulars without tickets. That is the princess's cue to act, and where she truly shines. Remember how she dropped the ticket earlier? That was bait. She tells Urek that he dropped his ticket, and while Urek bends down to pick it up, she swipes his real ticket straight from his pocket. This is her insurance plan she mentioned last chapter, and it paid off. Turns out she'd already stolen a ticket from another regular, so her survival was guaranteed no matter what. But going for Urek's ticket wasn't about survival, it was about pride. She wanted to prove to Urek, and most importantly to herself, that she's the one at the top. Visually, it's such a great panel. Urek crouched on the floor while she towers over him, holding all the power. She even hides the ticket in her boot and warns him that if he touches her, she will call him a pervert. This is absolutely brilliant because there's nothing Urek can do about it. And honestly, this should have been the perfect ending beat to the fight. But then the ghost shows up to check the tickets and immediately flips out, claiming that the ones they are holding don't actually belong to them. And suddenly, instead of letting the princess stand tall after outsmarting Urek, both of them are forced into a random tag team battle against a ghost. And honestly, I really don't like this turn of events at all. It feels like the story undercuts its own best moment, just to shove in a mandatory action sequence for the next chapter. Think about it. The princess had just pulled off the impossible. She outplayed Urek Mazino, one of the most powerful beings in the tower. That should have been her moment to shine. But instead of letting that victory breathe, the story immediately resets the character dynamics by throwing them onto the same side. Now, sure, it's probably going to be funny seeing them bicker while fighting a ghost, but narratively speaking, it's kind of a mess. Why introduce a whole ticket stealing mechanic, establish the rules and then just break those rules when it's convenient? But what frustrates me the most though, is that it wasn't even necessary. The princess had Urek's ticket, but Urek still held on to the decoy ticket she used as bait, meaning neither of them would have been eliminated anyway. We could have kept the tension, the banter, the fun character dynamics without derailing it all with this silly ghost nonsense. Anyway, while all of this is happening, Neo runs into Lou and Rohan, who have just been attacked by that blue-haired regular. The key moment here is Neo seeing the symbol on Lou's shirt and immediately having some sort of painful flashback. This basically confirms my theory from an earlier chapter. Neo is connected to Lou somehow, or at least to whatever group Lou belongs to. Likely victims of Rahab and his twisted band of rankers. The fact that Neo reacts so viscerally hints at a tragic backstory, but just as Neo thinks about stepping in, as the blue-haired regular continues his attack, Evelyn steps in. And I have to say, I love this girl so much. Remember how she was supposedly passed out from drinking too much soda? Turns out she was faking. She drops the most ridiculous line. If I were to get drunk, it would be from the kindness of Lou, who carried me on his back. Which is just adorable, even with Rohan literally puking a rainbow from secondhand embarrassment. It's peak Evelyn, silly, over the top, but charming. And she immediately flips the mood by absolutely destroying the blue-haired regular for daring to attack Lou. To close the chapter, we cut back to Rahab, who noticed the massive golden Shinsu Urek unleashed earlier. And then we see the man in the black tracksuit with the red headband, who is called Cheon-Geum, which I have definitely pronounced wrong. His name literally means 1,000 pieces of gold, probably referencing his golden hair, I think. He's speaking with someone via Pocket, and we learn that the guy he attacked back in chapter 2, the one who I thought was dead, is actually still alive. Worse, if this survivor comes into contact with the other regulars, something catastrophic might happen. The person on the other line of the Pocket even says the one who swallowed the light will, before Cheon-Geum cuts them off, saying he will find the guy and finish the job. And this is probably the biggest twist of the chapter, as the one who swallowed the light definitely refers to Phantaminum. And sorry if this next bit doesn't sound coherent, but what the hell does that mean? Is Phantaminum connected to these people? Was he on this floor? Is he perhaps still on this floor? Are Rahab and the others followers of his? And if so, how? Urek followed Phantaminum into the tower, so how would there have already been enough time for a cult to form around him? But even if we ignore all of that, I still have more questions. If the guy Cheon-Geum attacked could come into contact with the regulars, then they must be on the inner tower as well. But that would mean that the guy must be a regular, which raises the question, how could a ranker attack him like that without the administrator stepping in? I have way too many questions and not enough answers.